I don't know about y'all, but me, yeah, the vibes is there. We ready to get started. I mean, it's just we taking it all to another level. So I think I can't even wait no more. Let's just start in 3, 2, 1. What is going on? It is your podcast host, Nate Larry of the Talkin Block, and you are watching the Talkin Block live. We got a little twist to it. The TTB live at night. Yes. It is currently 10:31 p.m. on a Tuesday, September 24th. I'm excited. I love where the podcast is going. I love how we're elevating every which way that we go. And you guys are just watching, taking time to listen to me, and we develop as a podcast host and a family. I will tell y'all that I'm proud because last week I said that I hope that I got it out on time, and I did. And because it is still Tuesday, we ain't nowhere near Thursday yet, so that means we still on the right track to get this out on time. So hopefully that you're watching on a Thursday. If not, it's just terrible editing skills by me, and that's all right. But as you can see, we got the setup, we got the vibe. I mean, we got the hat, we got the shirt, even the glasses. Like, what else is there better to do tonight than watch the TTB live at night? I love how we are developing in this podcast and everything that is going on. I mean, between the setup that we got now, between the microphone, between just everything, you guys' love and support, we are upgrading. But yeah, I will tell you guys that I still don't have a early entering in introduction, so we're still working on that. So be sure to comment what you guys think. Like I said last week, we could do questions of the day, riddle of the day, or what I brought up was as we grow and gain more listeners, gain more audience, doing weekly updates on what's going on in the podcast. As you saw, I had a sweatshirt on, and it wasn't to tease y'all or anything like that. It's just to show you that we're trying this season to be able to do things and incorporate better ways to help you guys show that you guys love your podcast. So things like that, whatever product drops, I'll put that in the weekly update at the beginning of the podcast episode. When I have guests, I'll do that, just things like that. However we decide to incorporate whatever it is at the beginning of the podcast, we'll do that. So make sure to comment and let me know what you guys think. But for right now, we are going to stick with it, and we're going to go straight to poem of the day. Today's poem of the day comes from Miss Mary Elizabeth Fry, and the title of her poem is "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep." Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glisten on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. And a little bit about Miss Mary Elizabeth Fry. Mary Elizabeth Fry was an American housewife and florist I apologize. Reread. Mary Elizabeth Fry was an American housewife and florist, best known as the author of the poem "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep," written in 1932. She was born in Dayton, Ohio, and was orphaned at the age of 3. She moved to Baltimore, Maryland, where she was when she was 12. Maybe I need to take these glasses off now. The introduction's over. Go ahead and take these off the top of my face so that I can actually, my bad, so I can actually see, because I can't see. Where did we leave off at? She was an avid reader with a remarkable memory. She married Claude Fry, who ran a clothing business while she grew and sold flowers. The poem for which she became famous was originally composed on a brown paper shopping bag and was reportedly inspired the story of a young Jewish girl, Margaret. And I don't know how to say this name, so we're gonna go ahead and spell it out. Schwarzkopf, who had been staying with Fry household and had been unable to visit her dying mother in Germany because of the anti-Semitic unrest. Because people liked her 12-line untitled verse, Fry made many copies and circulated them privately. She never published or copyrighted the poem. The identity of the author of the poem was unknown until the 1990s, when Fry revealed she had written it. Her claim was confirmed in 1998 after research by Abigail Van Buren. A little bit, I think what this poem is trying to tell us is, and again, we're doing real simple, real sweet, because I still need a brain break after all those poems that we've been talking about in heavy, deep context, and just all the words that, the new words that we were gaining. But this poem, I believe, talks about how it literally, just by the title of it, don't stand at my grave and cry, because I'm not there. And as a Christian, as a believer in Christ, we learn that Jesus died on the cross, was sent to the tomb, laid in the tomb, was laid in the tomb. 3 days, he rose again, and he's still living. And that's how I think of it. Anybody that dies, and how Mary Elizabeth and I don't know if Mary Elizabeth is religious. I don't know if she believes in what I believe in, but poetry is up to your interpretation. It's how you feel. It's what you take from it. And the only person that knows the true meaning is the person that wrote it. So Mary Elizabeth is the only person that really knows the true meaning and why she wrote it. But for me, I get the sense of, for anybody that dies, they're not there to, they're not there just to be there. They're there to help you guide. They're there to protect you. So when you're going to their grave, you're not meant to cry. You're meant to be happy, because they haven't died. They're watching over you. They've stepped away from life itself, and they're allowing you to live. They're allowing you to breathe, but they're in everything that you do, whether it be the wind, whether it be the trees, whether it be the ocean, wherever it is, they're with you no matter what. And I think that's what Mary Elizabeth was saying. She talks about how she's thousand winds in the blow, the diamond glisten on the snow, sunlight on ripping grain. When you waken in the morning's hush, I'm the swift uplifting rush. Whenever you wake up so excited, that's her, that's them, that's him. It's whoever you're related to. It's whoever you've interacted with. It's whoever passed away and now is in your heart. That's them telling you, waking you up in the morning, just giving you that wonderful joy that you have that morning. So I think that's what Mary Elizabeth was talking about. Once again, that is Mary Elizabeth. Do not stand at my grave and weep. On to the most exciting thing on this podcast. It is TTB. Oh, I said that backwards. ESPN on the Talkin Block on TTB. And this week we had so many fun-filled games. I wanted to cry, literally, because about every team that I picked this week lost. And it was sickening to my stomach. Back here, if you want to check it out, we have week 3's TTB's tally, and that's where we'll be keeping the points of how many teams I got correct this week. I'm trying my best, as you can see. Whenever I turn to the side, I try my best to make sure that my mouth is in front of the microphone so that y'all can still hear me, and we will continue doing that way. All right. Coming in at game number 1, Patriots versus the Jets. That's a point for me, I believe, because yes, it is, because I said that the Jets were going to win. So let's go ahead and clap it up. Mm-hmm. And we're going to tally that. The Jets versus the Patriots. Compared to the Patriots, compared to the Jets, the Patriots defense just couldn't keep up. The running backs definitely stole the show this game. I will tell you that I think the running backs have been stealing the show for these past 3 weeks now. It's just been about run game and on the ground, and who has better running backs, who has the better O-line, who has the better force. But this game, the running backs stole the show. Garrett Wilson had a nice little grab touchdown. I think it was the second quarter. Don't exactly remember. Don't quote me on that. But Garrett Wilson had a nice little grab. By the second half, Rodgers was throwing it to anybody and everybody. He was sharing the field. If you're a receiver, if you were tight end, if you were a running back, he didn't care. He was just giving it. And I will tell you, Aaron Rodgers is awake now. At 40 years old, that man is awake now. He is doing his best. I do believe that if the Jets keep going like this, They're gonna be in contention for playoffs. Will they make it far? I don't think so, but they're in contention for playoffs. But that was game 1. Game 2 was the Giants versus the Browns. Literally in my notebook, I have who was more trash, because how do you lose to the Giants, man? 21-15, the Browns lost to Giants. It's sad because the Giants started out the game with the fumble. How do you start out the game with the fumble and still win, knowing that your team is trash? But hey, anyways, the Browns let 6 sacks happen and get to Watson. It was just. I will say one thing: Malik Neighbors. Not only is he up there for Rookie of the Year, but I also think that he's going to get traded to what team? I don't know, but I honestly don't believe that he's staying with the Giants this year. And if he does, it's only because they got some good picks coming in this draft next year. But otherwise than that, yeah, Malik Neighbors, he's out of there by next year. What team, I don't know, but he's out of there. Devin Singletary had a good game though, and Malik Neighbors, might I add. He had a little Malik Neighbors had a little twisty touchdown over there in that game. It was pretty cool. But yeah, that's all I got for game 2. It's just something I never would have thought I would have wrote in my journal this season, is the Giants winning. It's crazy. Next couple games, Eagles versus Saints. This was a good game. Nobody scored a touchdown until the 4th quarter, which is crazy. I'm not sure if that's because it was just really good defense or terrible offense. Don't know what to tell you, but nobody scored a touchdown until the 4th quarter. Eagles defense though, they was making stops on third. It was like whenever the 3rd down came up, Eagles was just like, nah, all right, we can't let them go by. And the Saints couldn't make no plays on 3rd downs. Saquon Barkley definitely gets MVP for that. I think he had about 4 touchdowns, and again, running backs were just taking over. He on the ground, Saquon Barkley was rushing through everybody. Saints though, on the Saints side of things, they had a little, I think it was their first field goal. They kicked it, the kicker kicked it, it hit the uprights and fell in. So it was like a little ding, and then fell in. So that I found it a little funny, I guess you could say. I don't know what to say. It wasn't funny like comedy funny, but it was like a little hee I thought y'all was finna miss. Saints stopped a little tush push fake, which was pretty cool. For anybody that knows, for everybody that's watching too, the tush push is basically a QB sneak into where the QB keeps the ball and tries to get across to the first down. And what's so significant about the tush push is it's more, I don't know how to define it, but really the Eagles have ownership of that name and have ownership of the QB sneak, because last season it was like 87% completion. So 87% of the time the tush push succeeded. But this time Saints said absolutely not. We're not letting you do any of that. Not here, not today whatsoever. Alvin Kamara, I always forget how to say his name. Chris Alovi, can't think of it. But Chris and Alvin Kamara absolutely dominated that game. They definitely got MVP. Although they did lose, they were a reason why the Saints were able to contend with the Eagles. I will say that there was a nasty little hit to Swift. So Swift will be out for a couple weeks, possibly with a concussion. So that's AJ Brown now and Swift out. So we'll see how the Eagles offense goes up against some of these other teams within the next couple weeks. Hopefully that Swift and AJ Brown can get back on the field as soon as possible. Oh, that's also a point for me. I think I missed that. I said the Browns were going to win against the Giants, but I did say the Eagles were going to win against the Saints. So that's a point for me. Clap it up, be happy for me. On to the next game, which is the Texans versus the Vikings, which took me by a big shock. Texans defense was just not the same. It was so bad that they got a 3rd and 31. What? Texans lost 7 The Vikings got 34. I was about to say 46. The Vikings got 34. Texans got 7. It started out with a wide open pass from Darnold to Jefferson. Let me tell you something. Darnold is looking good. As a former Jets, now a Vikings, Darnold is looking good. The beautiful O-line coverage. They gave Darnold enough time to throw whenever he had to. Honestly, I think Darnold could have sat in the pocket the whole game and they would have been fine. That's how good the O-line coverage was. Now, granted, it could be better, but for what it was, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, that's all I got for the game. Please understand and note that I said it last podcast episode. I'll say it again this podcast episode. I'm only able to watch all the games so much because I get most of them off of YouTube, and YouTube is only going to show me like a quarter of what the game length was. So the game might be an hour and 30 minutes. I probably only get like 15 minutes of that at tops, sometimes less than that. So anything that I talk about, it's from what I saw. And I know that sometimes you can be like, oh, well, you missed this. I know. But I'm just giving you what I saw. Again, I also reiterate last podcast episode, I said that I'm not an ESPN reporter, nor am I a sports analyst. I'm just telling you what I see, what I believe, what I think is good, what I think is right. Okay, so bear with me. But besides that, that is not a point for me. Broncos versus the Buccaneers. I said the Buccaneers were going to win, and yet again, I lost again. Buccaneers got 7, Broncos got 26. It was good ball movement, quick snaps, quick passes. That's what was keeping them ahead the whole time. The Buccaneers defense just could not keep up with it. Mike Evans was in the game, but he wasn't getting called like I thought he would have. I'm not sure if something was going on, but it was not it for them. I will tell you that the Buccaneers, for everybody that had faith in them, man, take your faith out, because I thought they were looking good, but no longer do I think that. They went against the Panthers. What was it? Hold on, let's go back real quick. Where are the Bucks at? Bucks versus the Lions. Although they won against the Lions, I don't know what was up with the Lions. I think the Lions just had an off week that week. And then the first week, the Bucks went against who was it? The Panthers? Hold on, because I didn't write out who I thought. Not in this one. No, they went against the Commanders. So it was, I don't know, because the Commanders look good right now, but maybe both teams that those first 2 weeks just had off weeks. But I don't think the Buccaneers are all that as they were making it out to be. There's a lot of pretenders going on. Cowboys. But yeah, on to the next game. Packers versus the Titans. Packers won 30 to Titans got 14. I want to know, and my biggest question is, how long is Malik Willis going to stay on the field? Granted, Jordan Love is a good quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, but the way that Malik Willis is playing right now, we cannot put him on the sidelines. He is looking too good to be put on the sidelines. Just absolutely too good. Defense was on top of it. They were watching the ball like everything. Their life depended on it. Just Titans could not make any plays. Calvin Ridley, barely heard of him that game. It was Packers defense was just on everybody. Like, they got one pick six, and 1 turnover. 7 sacks that game. Blocking on both defense and offense was amazing, and Packers took the win. Hopefully the Titans can get it together, because at the same time, Levis is just not good for the Titans. That man is trash, and he got yelled at last week already. He just needs to get off the field, and the Titans need to find a new QB at this point. Next game, let's see what we got. Bears and Colts. Hold on. I almost forgot my point. Clap it up again. Yeah, clap it up again. 3 points for me, because I said the Green Bay Packers were going to win. Next game, Bears versus the Colts. I thought the Bears were going to win. I gave faith to Caleb Williams. I don't know. Colts ended up winning 21-16. It was a good game, though, because Caleb Williams threw a Hail Mary they caught it at the 1 yard line, but the Colts defense was just there to stop it. I will tell you this. I see what people talk about when they say that Caleb Williams plays like he's in college. If you've ever seen Caleb Williams playing college, he was a big runner. He was just all over the place. And I think that is one reason why the offensive line cannot protect him like they need to, because Caleb Williams cannot stay in the pocket for nothing. Once that ball is snapped, that man is now running outside the pocket. And if you're doing that, you give no time for your offensive line to even like try and, protect you, which is just, I don't know what to, again, I don't think Caleb Williams is trash. He's got to get it together. He's got to do better. As for the Colts side of things, Blue is funny. Blue is the mascot for the Colts. I'll post a little video, but after the Bears missed a field goal, Blue did his little shaky shake dance, and it was funny. Richardson to Pierce, yet again, another long touchdown pass. Those two are just going to be I'm pretty sure there's a superlative for duos, QB and wide receiver duos. I think they're going to get it if they keep looking like they are. Jonathan Taylor, running back for that team, absolutely was amazing to watch. A nice little good game for him. Help him with his stats. Chargers versus Steelers. I think I get that point because I said the Steelers were going to win. Yeah. Don't worry, you're going to have to clap it up for me anymore. I'm tired of hitting that button, so I'm going to move on about it. But I don't have much. I really don't have anything for this Chargers versus Steelers. It's blank. The best thing I could say is TJ Watt is still the defense. Justin Field has confirmed his spot as QB1. No longer is Russell Wilson touching that field because the Steelers are 3-0 right now, and they are absolutely dominating. At the same time, you got to think about it. Have the Steelers also went against some good teams? I don't think so. Not yet, exactly. But we'll see future on in their season how they're looking compared to these teams that are coming ahead to them. Seahawks versus Dolphins. Seahawks won 24-3. Not much on the Dolphins side. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua. We'll just stick to Tua. Tua's contract extension. He signed it previously before the game had aired. Give me like 2 seconds. Let's figure this out. Tua signed a contract extension prior to the game. There we go. So he does plan to continue playing. I know many people are like, Tua needs to get out of there. He's got children. He's got wife. This concussion is just not getting. Yeah. But hey, he said he's gonna play, so he's gonna play. Will he come back this season? I don't know. But as for him coming back, he will be back. Another deep throw from Smith to Metcalf. Geno Smith. We have not talked about him. That man is good. He's a wonderful playmaker. He's doing a lot of great things for the Seahawks right now. Seahawks are also another team that is 3-0. And I think we just skip past the fact that Smith is the leader of it all. Like, Smith is doing a wonderful job. Congratulations, Smith. Let's give a cheer for Smith. Charbonnet had a good game, ran for 91 rushing yards. Again, running back for that team, and reason why many of these teams are going to get far as for their seasons. Now, here is another team that took me by surprise. I don't know if I wrote a tally down for that. No, I didn't. I thought the Seahawks were going to win, and they did. We're up 5 points right now. There is going to be 1 week where we get what is it? I think they play 15 games, something like that. But there's going to be a week where we get every last single team right. Okay? Don't know when that week's coming, but it's coming. But here's a team that I never thought I would win, but Panthers versus the Raiders. Panthers won 36-22. Dalton, I think he looks like a leprechaun. Not even gonna lie to you. Like, I don't know where he's from, but like, if you put a picture, just look. Here's him. Here's a leprechaun. I think he looks like a leprechaun. Just a really tall and more, slimmer version of a leprechaun. But Dalton, here's my question. What is Bryce Young doing that Dalton? What isn't Bryce Young doing that Dalton is? Because for your O-line to look like it did, for your defense to look like it did, your O-line was actually protecting you and your defense was actually doing their job. What is Bryce Young doing that Dalton isn't? Because it has to be a personal problem. It can't be a Bryce Young doesn't know how to play ball. Bryce Young knows how to play ball. So at this point now, it has to be a personal problem that is going on in the locker rooms, that's going on in practice, that's going on the bus or something. Like, there has to be some Bryce Young with the team between the way that the team looks with Bryce Young and the way that the team looked with Dalton. Like 36, your team was able to drop 30. Why wasn't we doing this in the beginning? It was just, I can tell you right now, Bryce Young ain't stepping on that field for a while. The way that Dalton was looking good. But I will say the Raiders' defense let go. I think they are also another team that is pretenders because they looked pretty good against the Ravens last week. They won against the Ravens last week, and then they lose here against the Panthers. So it was like, what? But, hey, that is what it is. Adam Thielen, though, with a nice grab and touchdown. But that's all I got because that's crazy. For me to write down the Giants one and the Panthers one, it was a weird week, and that's how I knew that I just wasn't going to get what I wanted. 49ers versus the Rams. 49ers. Come here. Come here. Like, how do you lose against the Rams? And I know that's my team. I know it is. But for them not to have their star players, for you guys not to have your star players and still show out like you did, and then lose to the team that is really no good right now, you were up by 2 touchdowns and y'all lost. Get it together. I don't know what to tell you, but get it together. And I will tell you, Christian McCaffrey, ESPN posted a post saying that Christian McCaffrey, during therapy, his calf was not getting any better and he will not be returning this season. So George Mason will be continuing in Christian McCaffrey's spot. But man, I don't know what it was. Jawan Jennings, though, 175 receiving yards. Good game for him. Missed field goal was the game changer. That's what set the Rams up for success, and the Rams took it away. Lions versus the Cardinals. Not much for here either. I will tell you, Lions running back got carried all the way to the first down. Had to do no work. Cardinals, literally the whole team, had his back and carried him to a first down. Ravens versus the Cowboys. Oh, did I? I'm over here. I'm about to forget about this point system because it's just because I think that I'm gonna lose. There's so many teams that I thought were gonna win that ended up losing. Did I say that I said that was the Rams were gonna win last week, so I don't get that point. What did I say about I did say the Lions were gonna win, so the line, I get that point. That's 6 points for me right now. Ravens versus the Cowboys. Derrick Henry was actually getting used like he needed to be. I don't know what was going on those past 2 weeks, but yeah, they needed to get it together, and they did. Derrick Henry was used like he was supposed to be. He also hit one of his little infamous stiff arms in the big, and it was, oh my goodness, I wish I could speak right now. He hit one of his infamous stiff arms, and it was the Derrick Henry that we know and love to see. Defense, they brought their redemption, after losing to the sorry Raiders. They brought back what they know and how they know how to play, and they told the Cowboys absolutely not. At the same time, I think that the boys are just trash. Chris Tucker, let's talk about Chris Tucker real quick. I don't ever want to bring up a topic that I feel in my heart until somebody else brings it up, because there's certain times that I'm just like, I don't need to be ridiculed and criticized. But a good question, is Chris Tucker washed? And I absolutely believe so. Because Chris Tucker missed a couple field goals this week, and like, what are we doing, Chris Tucker? Your job is to make every last single field goal. You are supposed to be the number one kicker in the NFL, and you're not doing that. Like, I don't know what's going on, but if it's interfering with your kicking right now, we need to get you off the field because your record is going downhill after what we saw last week. Get it together, man. Get it together. Falcons versus the Chiefs. I want you to keep this picture, this picture in your head and remember that, okay? All right. Wide open touchdown to Drake London. Kirk Cousins is looking good. Now, granted, because they played the Chiefs, they lost. The refs are always going to be on their side, but the Falcons have a future. Mooney and Robinson, MVPs for those games, carried the offense like nothing. Gave Kirk Cousins avenues to play around with the Chiefs. I think that the Falcons held their own against the Chiefs. Honestly, I really do. And that's all I got for that. I will say that not a lot of Mahomes to Kelsey this season so far. So hopefully they get better at that, because I mean, that's honestly kind of like a weak spot for many teams. If you realize that Kelsey's not getting the ball, then you also got to realize that some other people are not getting the ball. Pacheco wasn't in this game either, so that was I'm not sure if they just sat him on the sidelines so that Steele could get some shine, but whatever's going on with them, hope they get it together, because they're showing a little weakness right now, and it's a little scary. Coming to the last two games, Jaguars versus the Bills. Again, I'm always going to be a Josh Allen fan. James Cook was looking good. Jaguars suck. Trevor Lawrence is kind of no good right now. Kind of was no good ever, but that is what it is. At the same time, we also got to see how Josh Allen plays against some good teams. I know that they do play the Ravens next week, so we will see about that. And then the Commanders versus the Bengals. Remember how I told you to remember this photo? Now look at this photo. So the Chiefs don't get a PI called on this, but it looks exactly like this, and the Commanders do. Don't tell me that the NFL ain't possibly scripted, because if that's not the case, then I don't know what is. But the Commanders ended up coming with the win, 38-33. Jaden Daniels is #1 rookie of the year right now. I don't care what anybody has to say. That man looks good in the pocket, outside the pocket, running the ball, passing the ball, whatever it is. That man looks good. Okay? All right. Threw a nice little pretty pass to, I forgot who it was, but ended up making a 1st and goal on the 5-yard line. Just beautiful. And that's really all I got. Bengals had no defensive coverage, but Isavas made a nice little fight to this for his touchdown. And yeah, that's everything I got on the ESPN on the Talkin Block. As for what we got for next week, Cowboys versus the Giants. Oh, let me say this. I read down the list of all the games next week for anybody new that's watching, and I tell you who's gonna win. I tell you who's gonna lose. Yeah, Cowboys versus the Giants. Giants suck. If the Cowboys lose to them, the Cowboys suck even more. But I'm gonna give it to the Cowboys. Bengals versus the Panthers. The way that the Bengals are looking, or the way the Patriots are looking, the Patriots are looking better than Bengals. So I'm giving it to the Patriots. Saints versus the Falcons. I believe Kirk Cousins looks good, but I'm gonna give it to the Saints. Jaguars versus Texans. Jaguars are no good. I'm sorry. And at that too, ETN is also going to be another one that I believe is going to get traded this year. Like, he's too good for that team. But I'm going to give it to the Texans. All the Texans just got absolutely demolished by the Vikings. I'm going to still give it to the Texans. Broncos versus the Jets. Jets all the way. Bo Nix just, I don't know why they don't give it to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson would have been setting the tone since game 1 if they had him on the field. I believe. Vikings versus the Packers. Vikings all the way. I don't care what anybody has to say. Packers look good. Malik Willis looks great. But the way the Vikings are looking, I need to stop doubting them now, and I'm going to give it to the Vikings. Steelers versus the Colts. Steelers. I mean, Steelers look better. They're 3-0. So are the Vikings. Like, there's no stopping these teams. Rams versus the Bears. I'm going to go on a different turn today, and I'm going to say that the Rams are going to win. Now, if they lose, I'm just going to have to stop rooting for my team, and that's probably what's going to help them win. Eagles versus the Bucks. Eagles, absolutely Eagles. I don't know why the Bucks would even think that they have a chance. I just realized that right here it says Patriots for the first versus the 49ers. Bengals versus the Panthers. That's what that was meant to say. I read that wrong. I'm still going to give it to the Panthers. If they keep Dalton's going to win that game. So I'm going to give it to the Bengals versus the Panthers. Patriots versus the 49ers. I mean, still questionable, but 49ers. Commanders versus the Cardinals. Commanders all the way. Chiefs versus the Chargers. Hey, as long as the Chiefs got the refs on their side, they're going to win. Chiefs going to win. Browns versus the Raiders. This is going to define who sucks more, because two sucky teams just going against each other. Well, which team sucks more? And I believe it's the Browns, but because the Raiders are going to win. If they don't, I don't know what to tell the Raiders. Titans versus the... skip one. Bills versus the Ravens. Again, I'm a Josh Allen fan. I think that Josh Allen has got it in him. Josh Allen is 3-0 right now. I think that Josh Allen is going to win. Titans versus the Dolphins, and then Seahawks versus the Lions. I think that the Seahawks are going to win. Seahawks are also 3-0, and they look a little better than the Lions this year. So I think I'm going to give it to the Lions. And that wraps up ESPN on the Talking Block. On to what is going on in the world, what is going on in your community, in life, in wherever. Marcellus Williams, I've talked about him previously on my podcast when we were outside and I was sitting in the chair in the corner and it was hot and blazing, and I brought him to you for the first time. As of today, because it is still September 24th, he was executed at 6 p.m. and just a whole bunch of what in the world. The execution of Marcellus Williams is set to proceed as scheduled Tuesday after the Missouri Supreme Court and state's governor both rejected pleas to halt the procedure. An attorney for Williams argued Monday that the state Supreme Court should halt the lethal injection because a trial attorney prevented a black man who he thought looked similar to the defendant from serving on the jury, but the court rejected the argument. Despite nearly a quarter century of litigation in both state and federal courts, there is no credible evidence of the actual innocence or any showing of the constitutional error undermining confidence in the original judgment, the court said in its decision. Williams is scheduled to be executed at 6 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday for the 1998 stabbing death of Lisa Gale in the St. Louis suburb of University City. Williams, 55, has asserted his innocence, but his attorney did not pursue the claim Monday before the state's highest court, instead focusing on alleged procedural errors in jury selection and the prosecution's alleged mishandling of the murder weapon. The Supreme Court should correct an injustice either by declaring that the prosecutor wrongly excluded a potential juror for the racial reasons, or by sending the case back to a lower court to determine the issue. Attorney Jonathan Potts argued on behalf of Williams. We're going to stop right there for a minute. You pulled somebody out just because they look like the defendant. Because they were black. Because Marcellus Williams is black. You pulled that person out. And then it also says that Marcellus Williams is court appointed attorney, was it? No, just a regular attorney. So somebody that he hired is more focused on the juror selection errors and mishandling of the weapon, when we already know that the prosecutors had already said that his DNA was not found on the murder scene, murder weapon, whatever. Okay, I guess we shall continue reading. Dear old Mike Parsons, capital punishment cases are some of the hardest issues we have to address in the governor's office, but when it comes down to it, I follow the law and the trust integrity of our judicial system, Parsons said in a statement Monday. Mr. Williams has exhausted due process in every judicial avenue, including over 15 hearings attempting to argue his innocence and overturn his conviction. No juror nor court, including the trial, appellate, and Supreme Court levels, have ever found merit in Mr. Williams' innocence claims. At the end of the day, his guilty verdict and sentence of capital punishment were upheld. nothing from the real facts of this case have led me to believe that Mr. Williams is innocent. As such, Mr. Williams' punishment will be carried out as ordered by the Supreme Court. What? Then the line right after is Parsons, a former sheriff, has been in office for 11 executions and has never granted clemency. The NAACP has also urged Parsons to stop the execution. And NAACP has asked, the prosecutor said that no DNA was found. My bad. And then what gets even worse is, where is it? If I can find it. But what I'm looking for, the family of the victim asked to hold off the execution. You have the family asking to hold off the execution. It just, as I don't want to say that and not be able to find it. Where is it? There it is. Missouri is poised to execute an innocent man, an outcome that calls into question the legitimacy of the entire criminal justice system, said Tricia Bushnell, executive director of the Midwest Innocent Project, an attorney representing Williams. Give everything we know about Marcellus Williams' case, including the new revelations of the trial prosecutor removed at least one black juror because of his race, opposition to this execution from the victim's family and the sitting prosecuting attorneys. The courts must step in and prevent the irreparable injustice. I lied. That was not what I was looking for. Man. I want to find it because I don't want to. I don't want to say that and then, you know, it looked like I'm just making stuff up. Maybe I might have read it on a different website, because I do know that it did talk about the family not wanting him to be executed, but just given life on parole. I'm currently looking at CBS News right now. I can't find it, but it's alright. But yeah, that's just, we've got to do better. It's for the family, again, and I know that I read it, so for the family saying that they don't want him to be executed, prosecutors saying that there's no DNA on the crime scene or on the murder weapon, to certain things about this case just not making sense, and then you still executing him. I honestly do believe that it just has to do with because he's black. I mean, there's no better question than that. It has to be because he's black. It really does. But that's that. We pray for the family. We give them and we send them our best regards. I also do want to put this out there. When I brought this up initially, it did talk about how he is not exactly innocent. He has done things in the past. So it's not that we are saying that he is completely a good person or that he is an angel or whatever the case may be. But now we're more focused on what happens when somebody is an actual angel and they end up in this situation. What do we do then? That's what the point is to me. And I hate to say this, but now at this point, Marcellus Williams is no longer a person, but he's going to become a movement, because how many more people are we going to send to prison to be executed when they didn't do anything? Okay. How many more people are we going to kill in the streets? How many people are we going to kill in their homes while they sleep? Because they're sticking up for things that they do, that they believe, that they want it to change. Okay? Alright. But again, that's that. For more information, you can go down there and check it out. Last but not least, as for what's going on in the black news, I'm going to read all of it and then I'll tell you what I feel about it. Again, these two topics have got me fired up. Wells Fargo abruptly closes 12-year-old black CEO's bank account, freezes her assets. Nationwide, in a very sudden and unexpected move, Wells Fargo Bank has closed and zeroed out the business accounts of Beautiful Curly Me, a black-owned company run by 12-year-old Zoe Ali. Oh, I think that's pronounced Oli, O-L-I. Oli, and her mom Ivana. Zoe started the company when she was 7 years old, and her brand, which has been featured on Good Morning America, ABC News, Black Enterprise, and even People's Magazine, inspires confidence in young girls of color through dolls, books, puzzles, and accessories. Both Zoe and Ivana say the closure of their bank accounts occurred without any warning from Wells Fargo, leaving their small business without access to its funds up for 15 days. The bank cited an address discrepancy as the reason of the closure, claiming the company's office was not a physical location, despite the listed address being a legitimate Atlanta office building. After contacting Wells Fargo's customer service, the mom and the daughter duo were told there is nothing that can be done about their funds, but that they would receive a cashier's check in the mail within 7 to 15 business days. This is really disheartening and unacceptable, said Zoe in a video she posted on Instagram. As a small product-based business, we need to cash. Give me a minute. As a small product-based business, we need cash to operate. We have vendors and bills to pay constantly. Why should Wells Fargo close our accounts and hold our money? Beautiful Curly Me is a company that empowers young black and brown girls with products I promise I'm gonna get better. Designed to boost confidence and promote self-love. Over the past 5 years, the company has impacted thousands of girls and donates a free doll for every doll purchase. How can you help? Zoe and her mom Ivana are asking their supporters to shop directly from the website to help them through the challenging time. Shoppers are encouraged to use the promo code SUPPORT20 at checkout on beautifulcurlyme.com to get 20% off all purchases and help this black-owned business thrive despite the difficult situation. Also, be sure to follow their brand on Facebook and Instagram. I will post all of that because it's supposed to becoming TTB. If I can change my mind, then mine will change. This is my to change some more, become a chain of change minds, and that is the point of this podcast. Again, absolutely outrageous. It's sad to say this, but when we have things like Marcellus Williams, when we have things like Zoe Oli, but then we focus on things like Diddy, we've got to do better. We've got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. Because there's no way that this much is getting out of our hands, out of our grasp, and we're allowing this. And I know not everybody's allowing it, but as a community, it seems like we are, because people keep doing it. But that's all I got from this podcast episode today. From Poem of the Day, Miss Mary Elizabeth Fry with Don't Cry at My Grave and Weep, to the topic of the day, which is ESPN on Talkin Block, to Marcellus Williams being executed at 6 p.m. today. And lastly but not least, Zoe Oli has her business shut down because for some apparent reason, Wells Fargo thinks that was the right way to go. I thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast episode, watching the podcast episode of the Talkin Block here on YouTube. Also, be sure to listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcasts from. Check out my Instagram, TheTalkin'Block. Check out my TikTok, Toast.2 coming. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you want to support, send me some bucket hats. We'll start wearing whatever bucket hats you guys send me, although they might not come in anytime soon, but I'll start wearing them whenever I get them. Okay? All right. I love you guys. Thanks for love and support. Be sure to stay tuned for next week, and I will see you guys